Welcome to Excel course by Besant Technologies. In this video, you learn everything from basics to advanced features, including formulas, functions, charts, pivot tables, data analysis, dashboards. Whether you are a student, job seeker, working professionals, or business owner, this course will help you to improve your productivity and make smarter divine decisions. What is an Excel? Microsoft Excel is a powerful spreadsheet software that helps you to organize data, perform calculations, data informations, and create professional reports and dashboards. It is widely used by educational institutions, business, and organizations across the world for data management and decision making. Start your Excel journey with Besant Technologies. Let's get started.
Hello, welcome to a brand new Excel online training session. And today, in this module, which is module number 1, we are going to cover up the all about Excel basics. So let's get on to it. What is Microsoft Excel? It's a software program created by Microsoft that uses spreadsheets to organize numbers and data with formulas and functions. As Excel, we all tend to come across a word that says Excel is all about numbers. Yeah, Excel is definitely about numbers. It does helps us to enter the numbers, which is part of the data entry, cleaning them, as in um, formatting the color formatting or the rearrangement, or even let's come across the number formatting, which is changing the data type of the data that's been entered. And then once we have done with the formatting and the cleaning part, we can definitely we can apply the basic functions in Excel and come up with raw insights all about the data. And the same raw insights could be plotted onto graphs and charts so that they bring out easier, they do talk to us, the data gets talking to us. And seeing the charts, we can help business to come up with their decisions and come up with the insights that they were looking for and then take up the business decisions. So Excel is being used all around the world by businesses of all sizes to organize data and perform financial analysis. It's a powerful tool that allows users to organize, analyze, and manipulate data across spreadsheet. Now, this is a blank, I won't say a blank one. Of course, let's say here, let's try and open a blank workbook. Or let me, at the first time, let me say as an Excel file for you all, although the proper word would be a workbook. Now, once you open a blank workbook, what you get to see over here is nothing but a worksheet. Of course, it has been named as sheet 1. This worksheet, as you all can see, is a uh, grid which allows you, and that too, it's a collection of rows and columns, and it does help you with your data entry. The data entry is very easy from Excel point of view. So what you're seeing here is a sheet which you could refer to as a worksheet, a more proper word, or a mere sheet is enough to understand. Now, each sheet, now remember one thing, a workbook, you can put the analogy of a workbook to a hard copy book, which does have a good lot of pages. So, a workbook is a collection of a single sheet or one or more sheets. It need not be a single sheet all the time. Of course, it may have one or more sheets as well. And each and every sheet has got the same architecture, the same number of rows and same number of columns, and the grids, which are more specifically called as as a single cell or cells. Now, how many rows and columns are there in each and every worksheet? I could see here each worksheet contains a total of 16 million cells. 16 million cells, which is calculated from 1 million rows, as in 1,048,576 rows, and coming towards the columns, 16,384. So each and every worksheet does have the same architecture, and each cell, this grid-like structure, does help us out in the data entry, and then their rearrangement, their cleaning, their formatting, whether it is from the angle of our data, as in your data entry or arrangement of them, so that we all can enter data and then get useful insights from the data. Okay, let's get going. Now, as you can see in the Excel application, as in the workbook that I've just opened, you do have a good lot of, you can say each one of them as a tab. Now, these tabs are kept for us for all of these necessary formatting, not necessary options, that easy formatting options that Excel do provide us. It does have them. Now, each and every tab is a combination of ribbons. Like here you can see first ribbon says as clipboard, which is all about a collection of your copy and paste options. And then your font, which is all about the font style, size, their coloring, the font color or your cell color, and each and everything. So likewise, you can see each and every tab is nothing but a collection of ribbons, and all the similar, all the formatting options of each category has been put into ribbons over here. These are all for our use only. So likewise, you do have good lot of ribbons over here. Like home does have all of the basic formatting options, whether it's based on your coloring or even, of course, your number formatting, which does deal with your um, data types, the data that you're going to enter. You can change their formatting. Say, for example, I can enter today's date. Of course, today's date can be entered through a function called today, which is going to retrieve me the current date, which is 13th of July 2026. And this current date is very much in sync with our system date. We can see the number formatting as the data type is a date. You can enter, you can even fetch in the current time with using a function called now, which will give us the current date as well as the current time. It's in your DDMMYY. Of course, the formatting here does show me as MM, DD, YY, and a HH and MM. You can change this formatting as well. You can alter the formatting as of now it says me custom. What if I do want to get in only the time? So I'll just change the custom to time format, which just gives me the exact time, exact current time in your hours, minutes, and seconds with an AM, PM as well. And this does follow our system date and system time. Of course, the way we have set up in our system, whether it's a 16-hour or a 24-hour format, it does is it's just going to alter it accordingly. Okay, now these are about dates and times. Of course, I can enter numbers, just like 100. It's a whole number. I can. If I want, this could be a number. Of course, a number, when I change the number data type to a number, it does come up with 2 decimal places by default. We can increase or decrease our decimal places. We can adjust the positions as in. I could decrease the decimals or I could increase them as per the requirement. And coming to number, after numbers, of course, I can enter text as well. Say our names, anyone's name. Um, say percent. We can enter all the text values as well. So Excel is not only about numbers, it does include the basic formats, which is your numbers, text, and of course dates, time. There are much more to there. You can see over all of them over here. Of course, a number can also be represented as a percentage. It can be the same number. Say, suppose you have 20% in mind. You can either put it as 20% or you can just put it as point 0.2 in the decimal format. If I convert the point 0.2 to a percentage, it's going to give me 20%. Or if I change it to a fraction, it's going to give me 1 by 5. So the same underlying number can be displayed in different formats just to suit our needs. And of course, just mere whole number is not enough. Of course, the main thing that comes is currency. We do have currency and as well as accounting. We do have currencies. We can include the your currencies over here. You can alter the currencies. You can pick up the one which is according to the country that you are working with. Like it could be a pounds or even yen and all. And of course, INR as per the Indian rupee, you can change that. Just that we need to come up over here for the more accounting formats and then pick up our INR over here. And of course, currency and accounting, there are two for number formattings or the data types in connection with your currencies. Both of them, functionality wise, are just the same, no difference. Only that the way the currency symbol is being written over there along with my data or the number. When I pick up currency as my number formatting or the data type, I see the symbol is very much near to my value. And when I pick up accounting, it's very much far apart and almost to the end of the cell. That's the only difference. But default one among the two is accounting. Yes, of course, we do have our when your thousand separator. And yes, your data entry, as you all can see, you all are seeing here, I can enter data very easily. The data entry is very easy. I can, of course, you do have your along with the tabs, you are even having your formula bar. You can see a white space on top of this white space over here. It's you can enter your data, manual data, any your numbers or date or formulas or any formulas or even a plain text you can enter over here. And if the cell does have a value, this formula bar does pop, this shows the same exact value that's available in the cell. An empty cell, of course, is not going to show you anything. But if a cell that's currently showing you the date, but the behind formula, it is just behind formulas, or to be more specific, a function. The formula bar is going to show me the function over there. Yeah. Yes, so formula bar, of course, and say suppose I've got a series of numbers. Let me enter them. You do have this fill handle, or it's called an autofill. If I have just entered one over there and I'm going to drag it, as in when I'm dragging, I'm just going to copy the value from the first cell to all of these subsequent cells. And we can just pick up the option fill series to just fill in the series. Now to the last cell, I can just enter a function called sum, which is basically to add up all the numbers in the range. Now what is my range over here? It's from 1 to 9. Of course, I did mention range. When I come to range, the first thing that you all should know, what is a cell reference? Now, cell reference, as you all can see here, if I just click onto any of the blank cells, I do see how am I going to, I can see over here as of now visually that my cell, empty cell is onto the L column and onto the sixth row. So the combination of the two, column alphabet and row number, is nothing but your cell reference, which you can see here in the name box, as in your cell address, or you can refer to as a cell reference. It's nothing but which cell is, let's say, suppose I'm just saying there is a value available into our Excel sheet, but where is the value even available, as in where is the location of that particular value? How are we going, even how are we really going to refer to that? So the location of the cell is nothing but our cell reference, or sometimes we do even refer to as a cell address. So basically the location. Okay, and in here it's a combination of your column alphabet and row number. Now, when we are in the current cell, it is quite easy for us to even refer to as L6, because we are in sheet 1 and L6. But then when we are trying to refer one cell onto where I'm trying to call this cell, or I'm trying to refer this cell from another sheet. Let me create a new sheet for you all. If I want to pick up, or let me say, I want to refer the value available in that particular cell from another sheet, I'll just starting with an equal to symbol, go back to that sheet where the value is actually available, and then I go and select the cell where the value is available. I can see the value is available in D5 cell. So I hit enter, and now I can see the cell D3 in sheet 2 is now having the value from sheet 1, D5. As you all can see here, your equal to symbol is the link that I could create between the D3 of sheet 2 and D5 of sheet 1. So the equal to symbol, and we shouldn't forget one thing, equal to symbol is the beginning of any function or any formula that you want to compute, because it's a kind of a signal for Excel application, as in saying just commanding to Excel, as in what follows the equal to symbol we are supposed to compute. But here it's not that we are trying to compute, we are just trying to refer one value from a sheet within another sheet, or from another sheet. So here D3 has now got the value, D3 in sheet 2 has now got the value from D5 of sheet 1, which is nothing but the current date, that is today's date. But yes, if I am going to, we are within the same sheet and I want to refer the value from one cell to another, I'll do a very simple job. I'll just start with an equal to symbol, just because the equal to symbol is the link. It's just going to create me a link. And I just click on or select the cell where my value is even available. And I get to see this. So only when you're trying to refer to values from different sheets, your sheet name does pop in front just after just succeeding the equal to symbol, and then your cell reference is being even coming up. Why is the sheet name even coming up even before our cell reference? Now, quite logical to answer this. Every sheet, every worksheet in a workbook has got the same architecture, same topography. Every other sheet is having that same 16 million cells. Same that A1 to the last. Say the range of cells is just the same. The series of cells is the same. So just to identify a D3 from a sheet 1 and sheet 2, we need to mention the sheet 1, sheet names before our cell references. Okay, so let's move on. Now we are looking at, of course, we did see few examples. Um, as in, I did talk about this SUM. I was talking about it does add the numbers in a range, and that how the cell references even came into our discussion. Now, when I'm saying here a range, what do you mean by a range? Now, a single grid, the collection of, or a combination, or let me say, an intersection for row and a row number and a column alphabet is called a cell. Fine. But a collection of cells, especially sequential collection of cells, or two adjoining cells or two neighboring cells, are called a range. Like if I pick up two cells over here, I know they are blank, say A5 and B5, but they are adjacent, adjoining, neighboring. So I'll call them as a range. I could even select A6 and A7. These two are also a range. Only the condition, the collection of cells at more than one cell, and I'm saying they should be adhering to one another, or let me say adjoining or even neighboring. Let me say the most simplest word of all is the sequential. Just the next sequence, it should be there. Only then I can say it's a range. Again, it can be a combination like this, as in two rows and two columns. Even this is also could be referred to as a range of cells. So over here we have that 1 to 9 in a sequential collection of cells, 9 cells. So over here it started from my number 1 was available in J5 and number 9 had been available in J13. As you can see here, it's your J5 to J13. And when we just refer to the cell reference, this function is going to pick up the value in that range, in all the values from the range. And yes, they have all been numbers and just adds up the numbers and gives us the total value. When I see the cell, I can see the total value, which is 45. But when I go to my formula bar, I cannot see the value. I can just see the function that has evaluated the total value 45. So whenever a cell does have a calculation or a formula or a function, the formula or the function only will be visible in my formula bar. But if I have to know the actual value, as in the actual result, I have to go to the cell over there. Okay. Now, when we're talking about cell references, now you're saying J5, which is nothing but the column alphabet J and the row number 5, which is over here. Now, there are 3 different types of cell references in Excel. Let's just see what are they. First one is your relative references or relative reference. It is the default behavior in Excel. They do not have any dollar symbols. They are just going to, you will just be seeing like A1, J5, and so on. Just the combination of my column alphabet and my row number. But then how, let me just uh, explain the same. It's, as I'm saying, it's a default behavior in Excel. Now how it behaves. When you copy the formula, the cell reference changes automatically based on the relative position of rows and columns. What do we mean by this? So if I come here, now here earlier it was, okay, let me just say, let me come here to a more example for you all. Let's say, suppose you have in here 2 rows are there and 2 items, just two, in a list you're having 2 items. The quantity that was even being ordered, as in the unit sold, their unit price. This is what is our data. that we all can see. It's a most basic tabular data that has got entered into an Excel. And when I want to find the total price, what am I going to do? It's just multiplying the quantity into unit price, but then row wise. For apples, the quantity and unit price are different. And the oranges, quantity and unit price are different. So obviously we are to go for a row wise calculation. So the first one, it's your 10 into 20, which is 200. So 10 apples cost us 200 rupees. Similarly, my oranges 6 into 30, 180. But then when I'm trying to do the calculation, I just did that verbally, but let me show you the actual calculation over here. As I told you, any calculation of formula, any calculation or function, there are predefined built-in function, a good rich library of functions that come up with Excel. So the most basic function, or even let's say the default function, default summarization or aggregation is going to be SUM. You've just seen some time back. But then as I told you, I have to start with an equal to symbol. Only then Excel is going to understand that what follows this equal to symbol is nothing but a calculation or manipulation that it needs to perform. So here 10 into 20. Rather than writing it manually, like this, yes, it's going to do my job. But every other time, the manual stuff is not going to be possible. I will love to have a dynamism bring into it. How? Very simple. Just select the cell where the value 10 is. The moment you select the cell reference is going to pop up here, which is C10 multiplied by D10, which has the value 20. And if I hit enter, I'm going to see 200 over here. And you can see the formula bar just popping up the calculation that we have just entered. And to the bottom right corner of the cell, we can see a bold plus sign. Just hold that and drag it to the next cell just below it. And it does calculate 6 into 30 as 180. And you are seeing here the C10 into D10 automatically has got changed to C11 into D11. And you are seeing here there is a no dollar symbol either in front of my column alphabet or in front of my row number. There is a no dollar symbol. So when basically I'm trying to, when we just hold that plus symbol and drag it and drop it onto the just immediate below cell, what are we actually doing? We are actually copying that formula. The cell reference changes automatically based on the relative position of the rows and columns. Now, and the cases when we are going to use this, especially the relative reference, is when we want to repeat the same calculation down maybe a column or maybe across a row. We are doing it across a column here. I want to apply that means I want to copy the same calculation, or I want to repeat that same calculation from the first row to the second row. This is what is relative reference. There is no dollar symbol in front of either your column alphabet or your row number. Moving over to the second one, which is absolute references. Now, in absolute references, you will see a dollar sign before both your column alphabet and your row number, something like your $A, $B. Your relative reference was just A1, no dollar symbol, but absolute reference, you will have a dollar symbol before A as well as before 1. That is before column alphabet as well as row number. Now, what is the benefit of it, or how would it even behave? It will lock the cell reference completely. No matter whether you copy or drag the formula, it will always point to that exact single cell. Why wouldn't the cell reference change? Because we have locked it, we have freezed it using those two dollar symbols. both my column alphabet as well as my row number is now fixed. It won't change. And yes, when to use it? We would need to reference to a single constant value like a tax rate or discount percentage or even a specific target goal. Let's see an example for the same. Again, here we've got two rows. It's actually the same data from the top. You can see here the same apples and oranges, while the total price 200 and 180. I have referred to them. You can see here just equal to E10 equal to E11. We are within the same sheet. So just the equal to symbol and the cell reference is more than enough. Okay, I want to apply a tax value over here, which is, or let me say the tax rate, 10% tax rate, sales tax is what I want to apply. 10% tax, sales tax, or just zero point 0.1. So we want to apply this 0.1 into both of these values, both of these total prices. So it's 200 into zero point 0.1, which is 200 is available in B24 into $24. My tax rate is in E24. Let me show you the calculations. You have your total prices over here and my tax rate in the E column, E24. So equal to 200, which is in B24, into tax rate, which is in E24. But then I told you I want to fix it up. How? I can just enter a dollar symbol before E as well as before 24. And I just hit enter. So 20 into 200 into 0.1 is nothing but 20. So this is the tax value that's going to be applied on my 200. And if I want to repeat this, of course, I'll just copy it over here. But then when I'm copying for the second row, it should be 180 into 0.1, same rate. So here, if you see, it has just copied it. B25 or B24 has changed to B25. It's obviously following the relative referencing, no dollar symbol. Okay, but then what about after that multiplication of symbol, which is E, $24? In both of these calculations, just by introducing the dollar symbol before my column alphabet and row number, I can see that my cell reference is not changing. The cell reference for the tax rate, which is available in E24, is not changing because we have freezed it using a dollar symbol both before my, before both my column alphabet and row number. Now, if you want to find out what's the price after tax, equal to symbol 200 minus 20. Just repeat it by dragging it to the next immediate cell. Here it is 180 minus 18, which results to 162. This is also following the relative referencing. It's just changing based on the relative position of my rows and columns. But then here we did see how just by introducing a dollar symbol both before my column alphabet and my row number, I could freeze that cell reference. I could lock that cell reference, as in here it is the same tax rate that we are, same 10% sales tax that we are wanting to apply onto these total prices. Moving over, you do have a mixed reference. And we did see what's a relative reference. We did just saw what's your absolute reference. Was the third one, third and the last one, mixed references. Now, mixed reference locks either the row or column, leaving the other to change. Now, you may have as $A1, like column is locked. The column stays fixed at A, but the row changes as you move down. And $1 row locked. The row stays fixed at 1, but the column changes as you move sideways. So when to use it? Perfect for creating multi-directional tables like a multiplication grid or a matrix where base prices vary across rows and discount rates vary across columns. Let's just see one such example. We got 3 rows, 2 base prices, and 3 discounts to be applied: 10%, 20%, and 30%. So this is a quantity discount matrix, as let me say base price discount matrix to be more specific. Okay, now for this first row, the calculation goes as 100 into 10%. The second one will be 100 into 20. Third one 100 into 30, 100 into 0.3. So let's try the same. I will show you manually. Okay, first one, as I told you, 100, which is B46 into 0.1, C45. Okay, let me drag this across the other two discount rates. But have we got the numbers correct? First one is fine. What about the second one? It should be 200 into 0.2, which is 20, but I'm getting it as 2. Why? Because it has actually done the multiplication of 10 into 0.2. That's why 2. Let's just see the formula bar. Hopefully you can understand there. Now here the first calculation, it does multiply for B46 into C45, 100 into 0.1. For the second, it should be 100 into 0.2, which is D45. So basically it should 0.2 B46, but this D45 should be fine because here it's can see this D45 after the multiplication is fine. It's 0.2 only. But then the B46 changes to C46. B46 is nothing but 100. Now in this, it has got changed to C46 because it's following the relative referencing. So it does follow the default behavior and it's changing as per the relative position of my rows and columns. But it shouldn't change. If I want this value to be showing 20 instead of 2, I should be fixing up, which is actually changing here. B46 changes to C46. So let me, 46 is common. My row is constant, but my column is changing. So let me just put up a dollar symbol before B, fix it. Let me drag it. Yeah, I could achieve. My B46, $B46, it's referring to my 100 only. What about this? Yeah, only the discount percentages are changing, but my base price is the same. Okay, what about here? Let me drag into let me apply the 10% discount to the base price 200 now. If I do that, what am I getting? It should be 200 into 0.1, which is it should give me 20, but gives me 2000. Why? Because it's actually multiplying now 200 into 10. See, $B47 is basically this, but C46 after the multiplication, which is 10, not 0.1. 0.1 is in C45, but here it got changed to C46. C is constant, 45 is changing. The one which is changing, let's fix it just by putting a dollar symbol before 45. And let me drag it now. So here across this column, across these both of the base prices, I can see first time it's referring to 100, second time it's to 200, B47. But to both of these calculations, my 10% discount is common. So let me select all these three cells. Now drop in here. I'm going to get the answer. I guess something is missing out. 1 second. I'll try it one more time. Yeah, it's working. So for the second row, my base price is constant at $200, B 47, and the discounts only are changing. First time it's C $45, D $45, it's just 0.2 or 20%, and E $45, 3.3 or 30%. So that's nothing but your mixed reference where either your row changes or your column. Or let me say where you keep either your row constant or your column constant as per the requirement. So relative, both my column and row can change. Absolute, both of them stay locked. $A1 mixed reference as in row lock. My column changes, row stays locked. Sorry, this has to be my yeah, row stays locked and my column changes. Apologies for the same, just a small typo error was there. And for your mixed reference column lock, your column stays locked, your row changes. That's all about the cell references, the three types of cell reference that are available with Excel. And after all doing all your work, necessary work, of course, we need to go to saving. We can just go for file and save them. Here, of course, it's a Excel online version. So I got saved online to our documents. But then we do have an option of saving them. I can show you over here. 1 second. If this was an online version, if I open up a desktop version of my Excel, I can just save it. Once my work is done, I am going to save it. Like if I open, this is how I'm going to open a blank one. Once my work is done, I just need to save it. I go to File, Save As, and pick up a relevant location. You can see here any of the location, appropriate location. Basically, your File Explorer opens up and you can pick up a relevant file path. You can download here onto your downloads folder. Book one. Book one is by default. We can give it a proper name. Something like day one maybe. And you can see here the extension, or let me say the file format is your .xlsx, and just save it. This is the first time when you're saving it with a specific name or a customized name. Hereafter, you can just go in and just go in for a mere save with, of course, the same name. And of course, when you're going for a new, you can just come up here and just pick up the new blank workbook. And if you have your workbooks, like if you want to try and open a workbook that's already available onto your drives, just go to the open option. You do see the all the relevant locations in your system. Or maybe if you don't see one, just go and browse the one where you have saved in your file, where you have saved in your Excel workbook. Pick up it and just open. Like say, suppose here, I'll just open it. Just now we have seen one, right? Yes, it's the same thing that we have just seen. I've opened it. Okay, Now, coming up to our printing, we did see opening, we did see saving, how to open a new one, blank one, and all. Last but not the least, let's just see how to print. I can come here to the print because we're going to see the print preview of the same, the first sheet or whichever sheet we do want to print it. You can go it for print, only that printer should be configured with your system. If it's there, go ahead and print your documents as in the Excel, or whichever specific data that you're looking to get it printed, you can go ahead and do it. You can mention the specific pages that you are really wanting to, the page one, two, or your to all of them maybe, or maybe only the active sheet, as in the one which you're seeing now, or where you are actually working. Okay, we can pick up the relevant option and then go ahead for printing. If you want to go ahead for printing more copies, obviously you can count, increase the count. And yes, if you don't have a so-called printer configured, you can always go for Microsoft to your as PDF. It just gets saved. Yeah, I can save it. I can just say module 1. And if I go to that relevant location, I can open it. As a PDF. I can do that. And one more thing, in this save, yeah, of course, you can put it onto your drive, personal OneDrive. You can have a sharing options. If you have configured to your SharePoint portal, you can even put this Excel file onto that SharePoint portal and share it with your colleagues. Okay, then that was all about our first day module, as in the module 1. Do drop in your comments. Thank you.